Well, hello, Rev Circle family. It's me again, Marcusina, the pool guy. All right, so let's get into it. There's a stat that you might have heard recently from Gartner. It says 33% of all buyers say they would now prefer to have a seller-free sales experience. Yes, 44% of millennials say they would prefer to have a seller-free sales experience. So, what does this mean? Does this mean we hate salespeople? I don't think we do. It just means, as you well know, that we don't want to talk to a salesperson until we are good and ready, until we feel like we are informed, we have been fed, we have done our research, and we're not going to make any mistakes. Remove all doubt. So, the question is then, how can we, in this B2B environment, take advantage of this seller-free phenomena that is occurring? Because if we're being honest, is it going to get less, this number, this 33% number? No, it's not going to get less, right? We know more and more people are going to say, I want to control my own destiny. So I want to talk briefly about three ways your organization, you might be doing some of these, but three ways that you can embrace this seller-free mindset. And trust me, it's better to embrace it than push against it, because we know how that works. Not gonna help. A lot of people pushed back against this thing called electronic mail in 1996. How did that work, right? So we got to make sure that we're embracing, at least as much as we can, what we ourselves as buyers want. So there's three ways that you can embrace seller free, okay? The first one is called self-scheduling. Self-scheduling. Now, what is self-scheduling? So let's think about this for a second. Let's say you have a demo for your product where somebody could reach out and say, I would like to have a demo. Now, the question is, do they want to reach out and have to fill out a form and then wait to hear back and then eventually get scheduled a time after you play some calendar ping pong? Or would someone rather, if they had a choice, and again, this is just a hypothetical, okay, so work with me. If they had a choice, if you had a choice, if you were really interested in a particular product, right, or a particular company, and you wanted to do the demo, would you rather schedule the demo yourself with someone on their team? Yeah, well, of course, you would rather schedule it yourself. Skipping that middle person, in other words, that middle call, so that you can immediately know, here's when I'm going to talk to someone, and it's working for you and your calendar, and there's just no delay, right? And this is so much a key of this seller-free environment, okay? And so, number one, self-scheduling. Number two way to take advantage of the seller-free environment is what we call self-selection. Self-selection. You're going to see a theme here with selves, okay? Self-selection. So what is self-selection? Self-selection is when you make a recommendation or an assessment to a prospect on your website without them having to talk to a human or a salesperson first. And so hypothetically, what would this look like? Okay, so let me just give you a really, really simple one. Let's say you sell a SaaS product, right? And you have the good, better, best. Right? And I know, your sales team has been asked before, okay, so I'm looking at your three different options. Which one is the best option for me, for my company, for my needs? Now, when someone asks that, what happens is the salesperson or the BDR, whomever that person is going to ask them a series of questions, and based on the answers, they're going to give a recommendation, right? Simple. So is it possible that you recreated that experience on your website through a series of through a series of questions, and based on the answers that you eventually gave them a recommendation? Well, of course you could. To give you a really simple example with my swimming pool company, please don't say that's not the same, because it is fundamentally the same exact thing where someone's trying to figure out what is the best fit for them. We've got a tool on our website that allows people to understand, based on their needs, what is the best swimming pool shape and size for them. And so we ask them a series of questions like, how many people do you plan on using your pool at one time on a consistent basis? And are you looking for more curve appeal or more straight lines? And we ask all these different types of questions so that by the end, we're able to say, so based on what you said, XYZ model would be the best fit for you. So you can do the same thing especially whenever there's choice. If there's choice involved and someone's trying to choose between this, or that, ask a series of questions on your website without bias now, right? It's very important. And then based on what they say, and I would recommend that you keep it less than 10 questions, okay? Based on what they say, then you can give them a recommendation. All right, so that is self-selection. It's very, very powerful. Everybody should be doing it right now. So please make that a part of your 2023 initiative if you haven't already. And finally, third way that you can take advantage of this seller-free economy is through self-pricing. Okay, so we talked about self-scheduling, we talked about self-selection, and so now we got to look at self-pricing. And what is self-pricing? Self-pricing is when you allow them to at least get a sense, keyword sense, for what they might spend. So you want to give them at minimum a range so they can understand their budget, right? So once again, let's say you've got some type of product that has all these factors that's going to dictate how much they might spend. So we could do this. Let's say you have this. Let's say you have a service and you build applications, web apps, right? So if you were going to sell someone that, and they called you and they said, "Hey, can you help me get a sense for how much this is going to cost?" You would ask them a series of questions, and then you'd give them a range. Now, it could be a very broad range, but it's going to be a range nonetheless. And they're going to say, "Okay, at least now I have a sense." Could you replicate that on your website? Yes. Too often, when we think about calculators and these self-pricing modules on our site, we think we got to give exact numbers. You don't have to give exact numbers. What we do have to give to people, because this is what we ourselves would want, golden rule, we want to have a sense for what they're going to charge us, what this is going to cost us. So for example, I'm a manufacturer of fiberglass swimming pools. Is it possible for me to give someone a sense for how much the dealer would charge even though I don't set the end price? Of course it is. And so there's a built-in price, your pool tool on our website that allows them to do that at riverpoolsandspas.com. So you can see how we do that there. We give a range because I can't give an exact number. You might not be able to give an exact number, but you can give a range. And if you want to talk about lead magnets, something that's really going to build your database with people saying, "Oh, finally, yes, I can get a sense for cost and price for this company." Sure, you can get their email and you can immediately send it to them after they fill out the series of questions. And now, bam, there's a bunch more emails that you can remarket to, and you're building that database, and everybody's winning, and they're happy, and they're not frustrated, and you're happy for the win. And that's how we embrace seller free. So let's not push against the rising tide. Let's say, okay, if they want to feel more informed, more in control of that buying process, let's make sure we allow them to do it. And of course, again, it happens through self-scheduling, self-selection, and self-pricing on your website. Let's make that a part of our 2023 marketing initiative.